better. Hey guys, welcome to Food by Lids. I'm Lids, and today I am going to show you how to make the Starbucks birthday cake pops. That's kind of hard to say, but I said it, and I think I said it right. I love Starbucks. I love their coffee. Their pink drink is pretty awesome too, if I may say so myself. I have a pretty awesome video if you guys want to check it out. I'll link it somewhere here so you guys could watch my version of the Starbucks pink drink before it blew up and became famous. But I love their cake pops even more. The only problem with the Starbucks cake pops is that this thing is $2.41. At least that's how much it is here in Georgia in the year 2019. So I got to thinking, I've been making cake pops for years now. Like a long time ago, I was making cake pops before they were even famous, before Starbucks was even selling them. And I thought to myself, well, that's easy to make. I mean, what's the big deal? They definitely don't cost $2.41 here in my kitchen, because I made like 30 of them. We won't talk about what happened to the rest, but can we just admire this beautiful bouquet of cake pops? I mean, it's so cute. The styrofoam thing just doesn't do it, but it's kind of a necessity when you're making cake pops. So let me show you how I made these cake pops. Pretty easy, but confession, of course it took me over a day, over 24 hours to make all this stuff because, well, I got a little busy. So I'm gonna show you my version of a Starbucks cake pop, and I guarantee you they're just as delicious as Starbucks kind. I like to make things pretty simple in my kitchen. So we are going to be using boxed cake mix because that's just the way I roll, and I kind of don't feel like making my own cake from scratch. We'll be using Pillsbury classic white cake mix. I hope I said that right. I'll have everything in my description so you guys can check out the recipe if you're wanting to make it. Since we are making the cake from the box cake, just follow the instructions that Pillsbury leaves on the back of the box. I chose to make my cake using just the egg whites, but you can most definitely use the whole egg. I just wanted my cake to be extra white. So you are making your cake according to the package instructions. Bake it, then you want to pull it out of the oven and you want it to cool completely. You do not want to be handling this cake while it's hot, so make sure you allow it to cool completely. What I actually did was I actually pulled it out of the oven, cooled it off, then I wrapped it with some plastic wrap and popped it in the fridge with the baking dish and all. And then the next morning I went ahead, took it out, and then I just cut around the edges. You don't want the edges just because they tend to be a little bit harder and you're looking for a soft texture. I never had a cake pop that had like a crunchy texture on the inside, so make sure you cut around the edges. You can take it a step further and take off all the brown parts and bits if you are willing to take it that far. Let's just face it, I'm pretty simple, pretty basic, and I like my things to be just fast, quick, and easy. So go ahead and cut around the edges. I pulled my cake out and then I just tossed it in a large bowl. I went ahead and used my hands, so make sure you're using clean hands. I know a lot of people are probably gonna hate on me because I'm using my hands, but listen, they were clean, so make sure your hands are clean, make sure you wash them, and in my kitchen, we do use hands. So using my hands, I started crumbling everything. I really enjoyed this part because, well, one, it was right out of the fridge and it's kind of still hot outside. So I was just having fun crumbling it up. It felt really refreshing between my fingers. It was soft, pillowy, and it just felt really good, and it smelled awesome. If you've ever made boxed cake mix, you'll know what I'm talking about. But crumble it up until it is nice and crumbled and it looks something like my cake did. Then you want to add about 2 tablespoons of frosting to your cake. I'm all about using less dishes in the kitchen, so when I can use a dish twice or use my hands, I'm gonna go all for it, even though someone might say that's disgusting, but I even make bread with my hands because I don't have a bread maker and I prefer to do it with my hands. But anyways, that's a whole different thing. Anyways, back to the cake pops. Once your frosting is all incorporated with your cake, you'll see that once you mush it together, it forms together and you can easily form it into a ball. I'm using an ice cream scoop. My ice cream scoop is about 1.5 tablespoons. I wouldn't go bigger and I wouldn't go smaller. Use 1.5 tablespoons ice cream scoop. I scooped it up, and then you want to mush it in your hands really tight just because you want to get all the air and pockets and all that stuff out. So I mushed it in my hand, then I rolled it between my palms. Once my balls were nice and smooth, I placed them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. The parchment paper was really just so you guys don't see how beat up my baking sheet was because I do bake a lot. So I went ahead and placed my cake pops on that. After you formed all your cake pop balls, you want to melt about 1/4 of a cup of the chocolate melt. I'm just using the pink ones from Wilton. You can use whatever one you want. I've noticed that they weren't exactly the same color as the Starbucks ones, but I think mine are prettier. I think the Starbucks colored ones are just not that vibrant. I don't know if it's picking up on camera. Like mine are more vibrant. Anyways. You want to start melting them. If you have a microwave, do this in your microwave. I actually don't own a microwave, so all I did was I kind of made a double boiler. I just put some water in a saucepan and I put my glass bowl on top of my saucepan, and on medium heat, I just waited till the chocolate melt. It takes a long time, or feels like it takes a long time. Just work with it. Once it starts melting, it'll come together. Take it off the heat. Be extremely careful because you could get burned and it hurts. Don't ask me how I know that. So I took it off the heat and I dipped my cake pop sticks into the chocolate. I bought my sticks from Hobby Lobby, but I noticed that Starbucks sticks are a lot smaller than the ones that I got, which is okay. It's not a big deal. So just dip the tip into the hot chocolate, and then you want to poke the cake halfway through. Once you finish all your cake pops, you want to go ahead and place them in the freezer for around 20-30 minutes. You want them to get nice and cold. This will really help when you dip them into chocolate. The chocolate will harden up really nicely. While you're waiting for the cake pops to freeze, when you have about 10 more minutes on them, you know, chilling in the freezer, go ahead and finish melting the rest of your chocolates. I just went ahead and added them to the first bowl that I used to melt the chocolates. Like I said, I'm all about using less dishes in the kitchen just because, well, it's not necessary to wash a lot of dishes, and I wash a ton of dishes. So it kind of gets a little old washing dishes all day long, and I use my hands to wash my dishes. I know. For you, it's probably strange, but I actually grew up washing dishes and we never owned a dishwasher. It wasn't until I got married that I owned a dishwasher. I feel fancy. Once chocolate melts are all melted, make sure you mix in your coconut oil or vegetable oil, whatever flavorless oil you are using. Mix it with your chocolate melts. Don't be like me. I kind of forgot about the oil and I put my chocolate melt in my Coca-Cola glass, which is green, and I got comments on why it was green when I was doing a noodle thing, and I didn't realize it looked so funny. But looking back, I can see why it looked funny, because there was milk and the milk was green. Make sure you add the coconut to your chocolate, stir it up, then add it to a tall glass. Mine also got narrow towards the end, and that's not good. Try to have just a tall cylinder cup that doesn't get narrow at the end, because that's not good. It just builds too much pressure towards the end when you are dipping the rest of your cake pops towards the end, you know, and they kind of just break apart. So make sure it's just a cohesive, tall, narrow glass cup or plastic, but I use glass so you guys can see what I'm doing. Then pull your cake pops out of the freezer and dip each one at a time. This is the labor of love. It takes forever. So dip each one all the way down, swirl it, be very gentle, side to side, pull it out, tap it with your wrist, your finger, whatever, just get the job done. Try not to spin it, because if you do, the cake pop will become detached from the stick, and you don't want that. I tried that and it didn't work. It kind of just dropped in the cup, and that's not pretty, and you're gonna get upset and annoyed, and you're already gonna get annoyed because you're gonna be making so many cake pops. So just tap the extra on your wrist above the glass cup where all your chocolate is and let it drip down into the cup again. Once your chocolate is all gone, go ahead and sprinkle some little cute white sprinkles on top of it and put it in a styrofoam thing like this. I got this one from Hobby Lobby. Kind of expensive, it's like $8, but I guess I'm saving money on the cake pops, right? I have a styrofoam instead of styrofoam. Sometimes my English just, you'll see that they harden right away and they'll get this nice top, and don't do that because you'll leave a mark on it. Try not to have them touching each other. You'll see as you keep making these cake pops, it begins to get a lot easier. It is time to try them out. I'm pretty excited. Like I said, this is the Starbucks one, and I see that Like I said earlier, this one is a lot lighter than this one, but I really like the color on this one. It's gorgeous, and wow, mine's taller. That's pretty cool because I'm pretty tall. So now I have cake pops galore, cake pops for days. I want to share them because sharing is caring, if you know what I mean. I'm going to actually bite into, put that one there. I'm not gonna touch these just because these look so pretty, you know what I mean? They're just gonna chill here. I wish I could just keep them as like a centerpiece on my table. They're just gorgeous. Love, love, love the way they look. I'm gonna bite into the Starbucks one. Hopefully I don't make a mess. I'm just glad that Starbucks cake pops are not perfect, because when I was making these, I was a little worried that mine were a little wompy. Apparently so is Starbucks. You see it's like flattened on the side. Mine's actually pretty circular, even though it's flat on top. They're just pretty round on top. And I'm talking. Let me taste this one. Oh, it's so good. Man, they're just perfect. Oops. Look at that. That looks like an egg, but it's perfect. I'm thinking that they probably baked theirs. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Probably have some kind of mold. Let's try mine. The lids. Cake pops. The replica. They taste identical. In fact, I think mine has more flavor. Mine has more flavor. I think mine has a little bit more bedazzle. Maybe it's because of all the love I put into it. This one kind of just tastes like sugar. It's a little bland, but this one definitely has a lot more flavor to it. I'm sure the breakdown of all these is probably 25 to 50 cents each. I'm not exactly sure. I did have to buy the styrofoam and the sticks and stuff like that. The box mix is pretty cheap. The chocolate's pretty cheap. The frosting, wow, like I barely used the container. But yeah, I hope you guys give these a try. They're super easy to make. Nothing complicated about cake pop, but they do look pretty awesome. And take them to a birthday party. I'll see you guys later. Also, the texture of the Starbucks one is a lot more mushier. I think I could achieve the same mushiness if I wanted to with my cake pops if I just added probably a little bit more frosting, mushed it up a little bit more. But besides that, they're pretty similar. Also, make sure that you do not put these in the fridge because they might get condensation. So you kind of want to keep them cool at room temperature. And that's all I have. What was that noise? Was that you? Uh-oh. Something's... I hope that hawk is not making a nest in our chimney.